All right, welcome everybody to this week's very special and prestigious NIM community call. As usual, it is going to be a very prestigious event, just like you're used to. Sorry for skipping the past 2 weeks, guys. It just didn't end up happening because of my trip to Ukraine and all kinds of scheduling issues. But I'm here. I'm back. I missed you. Hopefully, you also missed me. And I have a very special guest with me today. You may already know from our Twitter space that we had over at in his realm, so to speak. I have Offmylawn, aka Nathan from Nillion, who's the community lead at Nillion. How is it going, Nathan?
It's going amazing, sir. Super excited to be here with you. Feels like it's Nillion X NIM week, the way we've been public speaking lately, but love to see it. I've been able to learn a ton about NIM project and honestly super pumped about you guys and pumped to continue working with you in the privacy space.
Likewise, and I'm actually super excited to have you on because last time I was yapping on about NIM, right? But this time I will probably get to learn a bit more about Nillion, which I'm really excited about. Nillion seems to be a truly excellent and really cool project, so I can't wait to find out more about it. Do you want to introduce yourself for those who may not know you?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll try to keep it brief, but I'll give an idea of what my background is. I got started in crypto in 2021. Long story short, I was mining Ethereum to keep my apartment warm enough for the tropical bird in my apartment to stay alive. Because I was living in Indiana, it was wintertime, and there was no heat in my apartment because it was really crappy. And I decided to mine Ethereum because I could make money while keeping my apartment warm, while keeping my bird alive. So that was really my first kind of deep dive into crypto. And I found out, oh my gosh, I'm making a lot of money doing this. I should look more into this. So I started reading books on crypto, started doing research, got fully Bitcoin pilled, dived into Ethereum DeFi, and really got like DeFi pilled on Aave on Polygon back in 2021 when Polygon was a thing. And it really just showed me like the power that DeFi can give to the individual. Like the financial tools that only billionaires have access to, DeFi can give that to the individual no matter where you are, no matter who you are, no matter what your situation is. And that was just like the light bulb moment for me. And from that point forward, I've been in this space 24/7, 365. Um, I've worked a couple of different positions in the crypto industry. I've done top of funnel BD sales, which I was terrible at. I got laid off from both those jobs. Thankfully, I didn't like it either. And then I started doing community leading social media management at this Bitcoin lending protocol on a Bitcoin L2. I really found my stride doing that. I found that community management was kind of what I was really good at and what I really enjoyed. And then ended up at Nillion through a cold Twitter DM. Actually, I while I was at Zest Protocol, I was trying to talk to all of like the top growth people, all of the top community management people in the crypto space. Charlie Rogers, who was the community lead at the time, happened to be one of those people. And I got on a call with him through a cold DM, and we just kind of talked about, what could I be doing at Zest Protocol, which is the lending protocol? Like, what could I be doing to grow my community better? And then from there, we just kept up in like Telegram DMs. But he reached out to me a couple of months later. He was like, "Hey man, I have this community lead position open. I wish I would have found you before Zest Protocol did." Um, and he kind of just shared it with me, like slightly nudging that I should apply for the job. And I did. I took a couple of interviews, and then I eventually ended up with the job. I've been at Nillion since early January, so I believe it's been 4 months now. But man, it feels like it's been years. That 4 month period was also uh, our pre TGE marketing push as well as the TGE. So it has been complete chaos, but it's been a really good learning experience because I've been able to experience like the pre-TGE phase of a crypto project, during the TGE as well as the post TGE. And yeah, it's been a freaking whirlwind, but I love it. I love this community, and I'm really grateful to be a part of a community that cares so much about the original ethos of crypto.
Amen. Actually, I have to say, I've been, of course, looking around before we first met on the Twitter space. I've been looking around, on the Nillion Telegram and also on your Twitter and whatnot. Really, really cool community. So good job, man. Hats off to you. Excellent vibes, impeccable vibes. So thanks for bringing those here to the NIM community call. Since we're talking about Nillion, let's actually jump into Nillion. Explain to me like I'm five. What is Nillion? What are you guys all about?
Yeah, so the way I like to explain Nillion, I like to give real life examples. At a high level, basically, Nillion is a network for blind computation. What does that mean? So essentially, the Nillion network allows for encrypted data to be computed upon. So imagine you have this encrypted data set, it's got all of your sensitive data in it, and you don't want to hand it to a party to compute on it. Like, say you want to get valuable insights on what's my average heart rate, or how many steps do I take a day, things like that. And you don't necessarily want a counterparty to have that information ever. The Nillion network allows you to get the insights from that data without ever decrypting it. So I'll give you a real life example. Like, we just had a private Discord call with one of our portfolio companies, and they're called Skillful AI. And they gave like a demo of their platform. They walked me through creating an AI agent on their platform. It's essentially this AI agent creator where you can make your own AI agent and have it do specific things for you based on prompts that you give it, based on the integrations you have. And one of their integrations is with Nillion. So we created an AI agent, and we uploaded, and we had an integration with the NilDB, which is essentially the Nillion database where you can upload like plain text files into. It'll encrypt it and then allow this AI agent to perform computations on it. So we uploaded like this like example data. It was super sensitive health data, like diagnoses of these patients. I inserted the files into the NilDB through Skillful AI, and then I asked the AI agent, like, pull valuable insights from this data, and it was able to make computations on these files while they were encrypted, give me insights without the data inside these PDFs actually being uploaded to the internet in plain text. So that's just kind of one of the use cases, but we've kind of found our niche where, we see a future where AI agents are going to become even more a part of our life than they are right now, like in an increasingly exponential way. Like, we see AI agents performing 90% of human tasks for people. Like, you'll just get on your computer, you'll say, hey agent, can you please call my doctor, make an appointment, give them all of my data, blah, blah, blah. The problem with this is when you're talking to an AI agent, at least today, you're talking to a server in San Francisco. All of your conversations are completely plain text. All of the data is transmitted over the open internet. And if OpenAI's servers get breached, it's over. Any files you've uploaded, any data you've given to this AI agent, any counterparty can use this against you to social engineer you. They can use it to manipulate your family. They can use your voice notes you've given to the AI models to create deep fakes of yourself. Call your grandma and tell her to transfer $15,000 of Google Play gift cards to you. Like, it's there's some scary implications of the way people are using AI now. And I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but I remembered this tweet from this like LinkedIn copy paste guy who's just on Twitter to farm Elon Musk, and he made a tweet like, you need to lock yourself in a room for a weekend. You need to open up ChatGPT 4.0, and you need to give it every single piece of information and data about you. The benefit that they were
That's a really
stating,
what could go wrong, man? That
what could go
sounds
wrong?
lovely.
What could go wrong?
Sorry, go
The
on.
the benefit that they were stating for it was that you could have this essentially this AI model that can decide things for you. It knows everything about you. It knows the way you talk. It knows the way you think. It can plan strategies based on what it knows about you. The negative side of this is you've just given all of your personal sensitive data, all of your personality, everything about you to this server in San Francisco. And it's like, you're kind of stupid if you do that, right? Like if the servers ever get breached, you just lost your humanity essentially.
Yeah. I also saw I don't know, maybe it was a short video or something. It was a while back where someone was suggesting, you can do GDPR requests from Google and from Meta so that they give you all of your information. So if you have, I don't know which tier of ChatGPT of the paid version, it is pretty good at, like the context window is very large, and you can give it all of your Facebook conversations ever, and like all your Facebook data that you can just download through a GDPR request. And then the point was the same, that it's going to be personalized for you. And you hit the nail on the head. It's a huge problem, from like a vulnerability perspective, but let alone the fact that if you just continue in the like current surveillance capitalist model that we have, like how Google got so big, how Meta got so big, which is basically all about collecting user information and then mining that user information to extract extra value from it, behavioral surplus, as it's called. If you just plug AI into this model, even beyond the vulnerabilities, like having your personal data in plain text on some server somewhere, we just create an even more powerful and more like prone to manipulation version of the surveillance capitalist like extraction model. So that's also not great. It's really nice to hear that there are alternatives to this. How does it work exactly when it comes to Nillion? Is it similar to? Are you familiar with TEE, trusted execution environments? Is it a similar model, or how does it work?
Yeah, so we use TEs in some of our products. Like one of our products is Nil AI, and essentially it's a tool where you can run certain AI models inside of a trusted execution environment. So there was a campaign we did around the new DeepSeek model that came out, like the one that crashed the stock market and made everyone freak out. Like China's
R1,
got this.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And people were concerned about the like terms and conditions in the privacy policy. It essentially said we're sending all of your keystrokes right back to our servers located in China, and people were like, "Oh, damn, that's not good, right?" So what we did at Nillion was we took the R1 model, we put it inside of Nil AI, and essentially what that does is it makes any conversation you have with AI, any computations it makes on the data that you provide to it, completely private. So it's like you're just talking to the AI agent locally on your computer. It's essentially the same thing as if it wasn't connected to the internet. And we created this blind guru, so you could essentially ask it your deepest, most private questions, and anything that it would spit out would stay completely between you and the Nil AI R1 model.
That's pretty amazing. Love to hear that. Oh, wait a second. I forgot to do one part of the intro, which is kind of important. I can see that a bunch of our dear audience is already leaving questions. Continue doing that. Of course, there's going to be a Q&A at the end. And if one of your questions is very relevant to what we're talking about at the time, I'm just going to grab it right away and address it. So keep the questions coming. And with that, back to Nillion. Now, we mentioned that you are in your post-TGE phase. So that's a token generation event for those of you who are not familiar. What does the future hold for Nillion? You guys are still a fairly young project, right? Where do you see Nillion in, like, I don't know, 3 years, which I realize is like 300 years in regular time, 3 years in crypto time. But, let's look into the crystal ball.
I would say more like 3,000 years, to be honest with you. I think
Fair.
one day is like 5 years in this industry. But Yeah, the future looks bright for Nillion. Right now that we're post TGE, we obviously don't have the token to kind of dangle as a carrot for people to stay engaged and learn about our ecosystem. So we're really driving our ecosystem projects to the finish line and making sure that they have users, making sure they have visibility. Because the nice thing about Nillion is we've put so much time into building a really strong community that believes in something, that we can tap into these and use them as an incentive for people to build on Nillion, because we're essentially saying we'll give you distribution if you build on Nillion. So we have a couple of really exciting projects that are building on Nillion. One of them is called Health Blocks. So this kind of ties into keeping your health data private, but it's essentially like a competition app. So they have these things called activity pools. You can enter activity pools that they set up, and you essentially like pay, it can be like a €3 to €7 entry fee. And in the current state of the app, it's just walking competitions. So imagine like an activity pool where you pay €7 to enter. You have to walk 5,000 steps a day for 7 days. Like there's usually like 50 to 100 people that join, so the prize pool gets to like €700. But here's the catch: anybody that enters the activity pool but does not complete the 5,000 steps a day, they are kicked out of the activity pool, and their euros are redistributed amongst the prize pool. So as long as you do whatever the activity pool goal is, you will not only make your €7 back, but you will also earn an additional prize of whoever did not complete all of the challenges in the activity pool. So the way that Nillion ties into all of this is obviously the application, since it's tracking your steps, it needs access to your Apple Health Kit. So the thing that links like your Apple Watch and your phone, or in like Samsung's case, I'm not sure what it's called, but whatever Android health data kit is. And
It's
it
called
will
it's,
keep
it's
all
called
of that.
just Samsung Health and Samsung. Yeah.
Samsung Health, yeah, it'll keep all of that data completely private so that the app never actually touches any of that, and it can just encrypt on it privately using Nillion. So that's one of the big apps that we're excited about, and they're actually live now. You can download the Health Block apps on the App Store and start doing competitions. I'm pretty lazy, so all of the activity pools I've entered, I've lost. So congratulations to all the people that have taken my money. But another really cool one that we're really excited about at Nillion is this company called Monadic DNA. So they're essentially trying to sequence the human genome in an entirely privacy enhancing way. Like we saw with 23andMe, they're selling all of their data to the highest bidder, which is
Okay.
insane.
I thought you said in a totally privacy preserving way, like we saw with 23andMe, and I was like, what's the joke here, you know? But then you
No,
continued. Yeah.
they complete opposite of 23andMe. I
Yeah.
cannot believe they're taking all of their customers' data and selling it to the highest bidder. Like that is such an invasion of privacy. But that's what you get for trusting a public company with your genomic data. Like that's potentially the most sensitive data that anyone can acquire about you. They can tell what your genetics are, what major diseases you might have in your genetics. Insurance companies can use this information to raise your rates on your entire bloodline, which they're probably going to be the highest bidder, let's be honest. But
Yeah.
Monadic DNA is really interesting because they can sequence people's DNA, but in an entirely private way using Nillion. I'm not sure what the technical things about it. Like for reference, I'm not a developer. I'm not super deep into the technical weeds, but I know that a lot of people at Nillion are really excited about this. Monadic DNA team is really excited about this, and it's a much better alternative for humanity than spitting in a tube and mailing it off to 23andMe.
Yeah, exactly. So once again, whatever you plug into surveillance capitalism, the more powerful the data, the more like horrifying the consequences. 23andMe is a really top-notch example of that. And like you said, DNA is the the pinnacle of sensitive data, right? It's like you said, there are all kinds of insurance implications of your genome getting out. It probably opens you up to a whole new level of identity theft risks, and the list goes on and on. And yeah, it's just it's pretty crazy that we hopefully, I mean, fortunately not me, but a lot of people, just millions of people, just gave this company this sensitive piece of info. I think this kind of speaks to the fact that privacy is a very complex issue, and it's not top of mind for most people, because we trust our systems, we trust our governments, we trust, we have this basically like this blind underlying trust, which is not, I think, always warranted, as the example of 23andMe shows. Maybe Salazar, if you could dig up a link to Health Blocks, was that the name?
Yeah, Health Blocks. I think the URL might be healthblocks.com. Let me double check. Healthblocks.ai.
Ooh, nice. Okay, can you drop it in chat? All right, it's already in there. Excellent, thank you. That's a nice sounding keyboard. What kind of keyboard do you have?
I have a low-free, what is it? A low-free something. It was recommended to me by our mechanical keyboard guru at Nillion. Her name is Celeste, and she I accidentally told her I used this $20 Amazon keyboard, and she just never let me live it down. And she was just sending me keyboard recommendations every day and roasting me for owning this inferior piece of hardware. So I had to.
I mean, she's kind of right. Let's be honest. Do you regret doing the upgrade?
Oh God, no. My life has improved. My hair grew back. I was able to run a 6-minute mile after getting it. Low free flow. Yeah. Nuku in the chat. That's the one I have. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, mechanical keyboards are something else. Once you go mechanic, you really never go back. You can have like fairly decent membrane keyboards, but it's just never the same. It's absolutely crazy stuff.
What's your keyboard of choice?
I can't actually remember. I haven't seen my keyboard in over half a year because I haven't been home where my actual main setup is, which is really tragic. Right now, my main keyboard setup is the laptop that I told you about, which I just got. It's an Asus Zephyrus G16, very decent keyboard. But that's, whatever is in this machine is all I have, because I have to be able to pack it into a backpack and move around with it, which is pretty tragic. But that's what I get for not being able to settle down,
Yeah, it's funny. I actually I'm traveling right now, and I'm working from my laptop, and I literally brought my mechanical keyboard with me because I love it so much.
No, that's dedication. That's dedication.
Yeah, couldn't leave her at home. I love the click too much.
What did you also take your monitor and all the rest, or only the keyboard?
No, I traveled with the baby, so space was pretty limited. Had to pick priorities.
I hope you managed to cram in some diapers next to the keyboard. Just like priorities.
Actually, I did learn that diapers are a very good packing material. That's how I was able to get our like 10 cans of baby formula to where I am now in a safe manner. I just packed all the diapers in there because Lord knows the way they handle baggage at the airport, it's like they throw them down a flight of stairs and then put them on the plane.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. There are some videos that surface about handling luggage at airports. It's always very scary. So I don't put anything in there other than clothes, basically. Now back to Nillion. I think you sort of kind of answered my question, but we still don't know where you're going to be in 3 years. Is it due to the difficulty of the prediction, or is it because we got sidetracked?
I got sidetracked. I'm very, very good at that. But Nillion in 3 years, hopefully we're going to have some absolutely killer apps that have millions of users. They've gone completely viral, amongst retail users, TikTok, Reddit, all that fun stuff. Because as an infra project like Nillion, the angle is to make sure that people don't know Nillion's being used on the back end. Like, it's such a pleasant experience for the user for these applications, these ecosystem projects, that Nillion's name isn't even brought up once. All they know is that their data is protected. They are entirely private when using these applications. There's no risk of data breaches. And they have a really, really positive experience with these apps. Something we focus on at Nillion, and something we advise our ecosystem projects for, is like, we won't get users unless we build applications that are easier, more convenient, and frictionless to use than existing applications and alternatives. Because people are just so used to signing in with Google, signing in with Apple, like using Apple Pay to pay for things. Like, I think a lot of privacy products out there on the market right now, they only make products for like the people that are willing to protect their data, which isn't a very large subset of people in today's world. So privacy will only win if we're able to build apps that can compete with the existing non-privacy preserving applications. And that's where we want to be in 3 years, where we have this whole suite of apps that beat the crap out of their existing counterparts, and people don't see a reason to switch back.
Man, that's music to my ears. To be honest, I was really worried not only for the privacy space, but also for the crypto space at large. Back a few years ago, when this mentality, this like UX first mentality, was not present at all, or just not winning, so to say. But these days, I hear from more and more people at different projects this, what you just said, which is of course what NIM is all about as well. There's this huge like handicap, which we're starting from, both crypto projects and also privacy projects. Everything that we do is almost necessarily more complex than the alternative, right? There's like a huge complexity cost, which of course translates into development costs and all kinds of other costs. And on top of that, we're starting from a handicap. We also start from a handicap in terms of the head start that alternative companies, like surveillance capitalist companies, have on us, which is measured in the trillions of dollars and in the decades, right? And they really nailed down the absolute perfect UX, which will keep you as engaged for as long as possible. Keep your eyeballs glued to the screen, right? And then when you go up against that, the absolute bare minimum where you can start moving towards mass adoption, which is of course the goal that we should all have, because mass adoption is how you change the world, right? If the technology that we use today is not privacy preserving, then you have to create technologies that are privacy preserving, and then you gotta get to a point where it's used by a large number of people. Otherwise, it doesn't actually drive change, only for those aforementioned 5 people who really care about their privacy, right? So this is a very important lesson learned, I think, for the space, and I really like to hear from more and more projects that they take like a UX first approach, where, like you said, people shouldn't necessarily even realize that they are using something. What's under the hood, like in the case of NIM, the mixnet, which is this very complex decentralized network with its whole incentive scheme and whatever. They just open an app which has like one button and like 2 selectable options and a few configurable settings, and that's it. And we have to be as simple, if not more simple, and as easy to use, if not more easy to use, than our main competitors. So that's really nice to hear, actually. What's the source of this on your team? Is it like an early realization in Nillion, or did you guys come up or stumble upon this realization somewhere down the road? How did this come to be?
Yeah, so the roadmap of Nillion has changed multiple times. I mean, as a crypto project, you have to be quick on your feet. You have to listen to your users and be able to pivot to make products that they would actually be interested in and want to use. I haven't been a part of the team for too long, but I mean, an infrastructure's ecosystem is essentially make or break. Like it's either you attract developers, you attract these really strong app creators, or your infrastructure just doesn't get used. Because our main success metric at Nillion is total blind computations. So that's the total amount of secrets that are being verified by the Nillion Network. And the only way to increase that is to either have more people building apps on Nillion that are using blind computation, or have a subset of really killer apps that are going to get a lot of users and a lot of traction to have more blind computations on the network. So I think that's the case with really any infrastructure project. I mean, you look at all of these L1s and L2s in crypto, like their main goal is to attract really strong dApps, really strong developers. Like I don't know if there was a single human being using the Polygon network until Polymarket showed up and added like 99% of chain volumes back there. And that's all because of one single killer app that got a lot of traction. Like
Yeah.
every single infrastructure project is looking to land that Polymarket app that will provide proof of concept for their product and attract a lot of users and mind share to their infrastructure. So I think just seeing the success that a lot of other infra projects have had by having these killer apps is what inspired that shift to really focus on developers.
Absolutely, and great point about Polymarket. It really is an absolute game changer, and I think not only just for Polygon, but also for the crypto space at large. I think it's one of, if not the most, like widely used like applications, I think, in the space. So it's absolutely great stuff. My question to you, this just came up in my mind. We at NIM ended up, like, we're of course also a fundamentally infrastructure project, but we ended up, as you know, developing our own use case of that infrastructure, which is NIM VPN. Were you guys ever tempted to do the same? Like, is Nillion working on any of its own like use cases of the Nillion infra, or is it strictly infrastructure and you will never develop anything in house in terms of use cases?
Funny you mentioned that. We actually had an internal hackathon. I believe it was 2 weeks ago, and all of the developers at Nillion essentially went out, created their own apps, their own use cases, and then presented them to the whole team. I'm not sure how much I can share. I can share a couple things because they've been shared on Twitter, so I assume that's free game for me to share. So our product manager, they leaked the other day on Twitter something that they built from scratch. Essentially this proof of humanity tool that can be used for crypto projects to verify whether or not the users in their community are real people and thus can claim the airdrop. The cool thing about this is that you can have someone link their GitHub, their Facebook, their Google accounts, their Apple accounts, anything they want. It will be uploaded into the NilDB, kept entirely private, and it'll sort of use like a zero knowledge proof kind of system and just tell the project whether or not this person is verifiably a human. Like we could literally have passports, government IDs, all of that stuff inside the NilDB, and then no one will be able to access it except for the actual user themselves. So the actual projects that would use this product, they also don't get access. They just get the result of the computation on the encrypted data.
Like a credential or something similar, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's a really big problem in the crypto space with these bots, these Cybils, and
Tell me about it.
no one's come up with a proper solution to mitigate them, at least not in a privacy preserving way. So it's a very early product. We're kind of gauging what the interest level is, but we think that projects are going to be pretty interested in this to prevent botting. There's also, and this was made by a pretty new hire to the team. His name is Yinka. He built essentially a one password, except all of the data is held inside Nillion. So imagine a password manager you can use cross-platform, but the passwords, your usernames, the websites, everything stays encrypted the whole time. Like we can listen to one password all we want. Like they can say, oh, your data is completely safe. Like nothing's ever going to happen to it. But we saw what happened with LastPass, and we saw that everyone's credentials got leaked. Wallets were drained, people's bank accounts were compromised, and the trust me, bro, security method, it just does not work in today's world.
Man, that's both of these are absolutely fascinating. Now to the Sybil problem, right? Obviously, we both work with like online communities where funds are also involved. So if anybody knows quite a bit about Sybils, I guess it's probably the two of us. It is definitely an unsolved problem. I do see a whole bunch of attempts and like initiatives to solve it. If you guys, I would be shocked if you guys really pull it off and it turns into what you just described. I'd be shocked if it wasn't adopted by everyone everywhere, basically, because like you said, all of the current solutions to proof personhood are like deeply privacy like invasive, right? It's really not great for your privacy. And then of course, yeah, password managers, yeah. What could go wrong if you take all of your passwords and credentials and sensitive information and you put it into one certain thing and you put that into the cloud? What could go wrong? But on the other hand, of course, there's the huge need for a password manager to be cloud-based because both convenience and also just like a redundancy of keeping stuff in the cloud is very tempting. Like a strictly offline password manager is kind of that once again is something that's going to be used by those 5 people who are really hardcore. So these are super exciting. I hope it's not just speculation, but you guys are actually going to build it, and I'm going to get a link soon with some free access to these tools. When link?
When link? We'll link
when link?
soon. Link soon.
Link soon. Soon TM.
Soon TM, the most used word in crypto.
Absolutely. All right. Now, with all of that said, unless you have something else exciting to share about Nillion, I wanted to talk about the market overall as well a little bit, just to return the favor and to have a bit of degen talk, sprinkled in. Should we go?
Let's dive in. I'm excited for this.
All right, Nathan. Crystal ball time. We did discuss this in the space as well, but I really liked your take, so I'm gonna just hunt for it again. What are the top like narratives, quote unquote, or like segments of the space which are gonna pump hard in the upcoming bull run and all season?
Number one for me, and I already told you about this on the Twitter space, DPIN, 100%. I think a lot of strides are being made in the DPIN industry, and I think there's a lot of really creative and interesting ways for people to not only contribute to a decentralized network of contributors, but also be paid tokens for it. And I gave this example on the space, but I'm a really big fan of both Hivemapper and SoarChain, which are very like driving and GPS data related projects. SoarChain is just like this device you plug into your car, and it collects your car's data, like how are you driving, how much oil are you burning, how much gas are you using every time you press the pedal, and then selling that data to car manufacturers, insurance agencies, anybody who might benefit from having a very like personalized insight into your vehicle. SoarChain is also shilling here, building on Nillion. So none of your personal identifiable information is ever linked to this data. So the car manufacturer benefits from having your vehicle's data without actually being able to identify who you are, what are your driving habits and things like that. Like nothing can be linked back to you. Another project, which is not building on Nillion, but I'm a really big fan of them, is Hivemapper. So it's this camera that you put in your car, and it will take pictures of the road in front of you. And they sell this data to like trucking companies, they sell it to the Google Maps companies of the world, and then they pay you honey tokens in return for that. And like there's different multipliers for the area that you're based in, how many contributors are currently in your network and whatnot. But these like real life token distribution mechanisms, they're unable to be botted, they're unable to be side-billed, and they're just really interesting use cases for individual contributors to be able to contribute to a network and be paid in real life money without having to go through KYC, without having to have like fees taken out of their paychecks. Like for example, the Ubers and the DoorDashes of the world. Like you have to complete KYC, you have to have a certain vehicle to participate in these. You get fees deducted from your pay. Like you're very much working on their time, which isn't ideal for an individual that's just trying to get out there and make money. Another thing that I thought of that I did not mention on the space is all of these like health tracking competition DPIN apps that are coming out. There's another interesting one. They're called Pulse No Limits, and they're building like a Whoop band, but it's like a crypto kind of health tracking band, and you just put it on it. I'm not sure exactly what it does. I know they pay you tokens for it, but that's also kind of a tie into proof of humanity as well, because like you have to have a heartbeat in order to be earning these tokens, and bots and cybles can't really have heartbeats. So it's a very
Wait a second. There's this new heart. Did you hear the artificial heart, which is just basically just a pump, and it doesn't give you a heartbeat. Yeah.
Oh no. The bots are already countering it before it's even live. It's oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. The cyborgs, we're gonna be calling them, in a few years.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like we're already moving towards becoming cyborgs. I mean, if you're using AI tools to enhance your brain, you're using health wearables to enhance the data that you get about yourself, like you're technically already a cyborg. And one of the people building on Nillion, his name's Michael, just an absolute genius. I think he's the Vitalik of DeSci, essentially. And he talks about like, yeah, if you're wearing these wearables, you're using AI powered tools, you're essentially already a cyborg, which is kind of cool to think about.
Absolutely, that's like unquestionably true, right? It also has its darker sides. For example, the fact that since I have this device, this like super powerful micro computer in my pocket connected to the entire world all day, every day, I don't really remember stuff anymore. I guess that's not just me, right? As I have this extension to my brain, I can just like search for information whenever, wherever, basically. There's this interesting fact about cab drivers, taxi drivers in London, whose what's it called? Is it the hippocampus that is responsible for memories? I think it's the hippocampus that remembers, right? Their hippocampus was like 80% larger than the average person's, because they know not only just the entire map of like a huge city, which is London, but also which one is like one way, all the one-way streets, like how, like where normally the traffic jams are. Like they know the whole city. They used to know the whole city, but now they all use Google Maps. And I guess we all do, and none of us would be able to like find their way from one city to the next without Google Maps. So yeah, there's a dark side too. But I'm an accelerationist. Let's go. Let's become cyborgs, and hopefully we can communicate in ones and zeros the next time I bring you on to the DEM community call. What do you think?
My AI agent will get in contact with your AI agent. How about that?
Exactly, and they will also have the call for us and stream it, and yeah, that should be actually really interesting. All right, look, man, I think it's time for us to jump into community questions. We got quite a few, but I would want to like leave you with the opportunity to bring in any other topic that you that you have on your mind before that?
Let's dive into the question. I've been seeing some interesting ones pop up that I'd love to have time to answer.
All right, let's get to it then. First question is from Rocio, our beloved community contributor. Thanks for a great question. What is the key ingredient for growth of the Nillion community? This is a really good question, and I'm super interested in your answer.
Amazing question. So we have always done things that do not scale. So as Nillion, we've never run like this big point system for multiple months on end to farm followers and farm people to come into our community. We've just done all of our community building things in a very one-on-one way. Like in the very beginning, Charlie has been the community lead since day one, and he's now the CMO. But he had like one-on-one conversations all day long, essentially, with the first 1,000 people that came into the Discord. So we built this really strong community base. We started with a really good narrative story, like privacy should be for everyone. It should be easy for everyone, and gave people something to believe in. It's nice that a lot of people, at least back in 2021 when the project started, they cared a lot about privacy and the original crypto ethos. So it was pretty easy to bring them into Nillion because they kind of already believed in that stuff. So a lot of it was, how do we take this core group of 1,000 people? How do we activate them? How do we turn them into Nillion evangelists? And how do we make sure that they're heard and seen? And I wasn't around for all of that, but I know that we've always done things the right way. We've never bought followers. We've never bought engagement. It's just been very human interactions and very human rewards for contributing to Nillion. Like, even if that's just a DM, like, hey, I really appreciated your piece of content. I hope you make more, and things like that. But just very much doing things that don't scale. And we're going to continue to do that through the next 3 million years of Nillion.
That's beautiful. In a world where everybody keeps talking about scaling this, scaling that, I actually really like that answer. So beautiful. And thanks for a great question, Rocio. Next one is also from Rocio, by the way. Do you have a Latin American Nillion community?
We do. I think it could use some more development. If you hop in our Discord, we have a couple of international channels. We have Chinese, Indonesian, Japanese, Thai, Korean, Vietnamese, Indian, German, French, Italian, Russian, Spanish, Turkish, Ukrainian. Not necessarily LATAM. Is that how you say it? Latin American, but we're always looking for new people to help build out those communities. So if anyone's interested, by all means, hit me up on Twitter.
That sounds very exciting. Yeah, so we do have a pretty strong presence in Latin America and some pretty good community builders. So maybe Nillion will also have a strong Latin American community in the very near future. Thanks for the question, Rocio. Next one is from Beyond. Thanks for the question, Beyond. Does Nillion have a strategy to ensure the ethical use of the technology to avoid misuse that could damage the reputation of privacy projects?
That is a fantastic question. So the core ethos of Nillion is to eliminate trust. So we are a decentralized network. We've been decentralized day one since our TGE happened and mainnet launched. So ensuring ethical use, I mean, there's not a lot of control we have over the Nillion network since it is decentralized. Anyone can build on top of it, and that's always the ethos that we've had. But of course, as a company, like, we always want to make sure we're doing things in an ethical way as a company. And I think that shows through the way we care about our community. We reward our community consistently. Like, our community volunteers in the Discord, they've been completely unpaid for the last 4 years. We gave them the largest airdrop allocation. We always operate in a way where if you're contributing to Nillion, if you're building on Nillion, we're always going to do the right thing by you. If that helps answer your question, but I don't have a amazing killer answer to that, I guess I could say.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, because controlling what people do with tech that is fully decentralized and permissionless, right? That's not really possible. Let's be
No.
completely honest here, right? That is a trade-off of the many beautiful and beneficial aspects of being fully decentralized and permissionless. But on the other hand, you can build a community of both users and builders, and also just propagators of your tech and of your message, which will then ultimately make sure that the benefits basically outweigh the risks, and that people build the right type of things, and good things happen in the world as a result. So I guess community is really fundamental. I mean, I know it's shocking. The community guy says the community is very important, but it is true. I hope you agree.
Yeah, no, and to build on that, like I think the ethics and the core values of your project are what attract certain people to build on your network. So like we have always been focused on doing the right thing, and by doing that we hope to attract the right people who are going to build technology that can make the world a better place rather than harm it.
Absolutely. Now, with all of that said, let's move on to the next question, also from Beyond. How does Nillion support developers who want to build applications based on your technology? And are there any resources that would be useful for members of the NIM community?
Absolutely, and I'm so glad you asked. So we have the Nucleus program, which is essentially a way for people who are interested to build on Nillion to get token grants for doing so. And it's essentially a way to give them the resources they need to build really powerful applications on top of Nillion. And something we really want to do as a company, and something we've been trying to do recently, is helping our builders go viral. I think this is something that Monad and Mega ETH and other crypto L2s have done a really good job of doing, is giving builders a platform and the distribution that they need to get users for their application and really take off from the ground floor. So that's something that, as a community lead, like that's my main job, is to empower these developers and give them a stage where people can see what they're building, get started with it, and really get a lot of traction essentially on their application. But if you're interested in building on Nillion, definitely apply for Nucleus. It's a great program. We just had an individual dev apply and they got accepted, and they're currently building an app that I can't say too much about, but it's going to be really cool when it officially comes out.
All right, that's excellent. Guys, the link to Nucleus was shared in the chat, so make sure to check it out if you have any plans of building on Nillion. Quick question: do you guys also do grants for builders, or any sort of like a financial or business support like that?
Yeah, the Nucleus program, we give out token grants.
Oh, nice, excellent. All right, thanks for another great question, Beyond. But the next one is also from Beyond, which is, do you see any opportunities for cooperation between NIM and Nillion, for example, to create integrated solutions for protecting both network traffic and computing? Lovely question. Let's hear your take.
We may or may not already be in the process of having talks about this.
Maybe, who knows? Never heard of it. I don't know what cooperation is. So yeah.
There may be big things cooking, because we see a lot of overlap between Nillion and NIM, and we see how a potential integration could be very beneficial for both NIM and Nillion. But I guess we shouldn't say too much.
Yeah, and just in general terms, guys, and probably those of you who have been joining these community calls for a long time, you're kind of bored of this take of mine, but I will have to say it again. That privacy is this whole stack of technologies, right? And at every like segment or like layer of that stack, there are different needs, and there are different like solutions to fulfill those needs. it's not like by using NimVPN, your privacy is solved. That is not true at all, right? There are many, many different, we're just one part of the stack, which is the network stack. We solve in a very powerful way network level privacy, but there are all kinds of other other issues that you may face. For example, data, right? So we spoke a lot about data. Nillion basically solves the data part of the stack, of the privacy stack. And if you just think about an integration between these two technologies, they really nicely complement each other. So yeah, this is one of those beautiful examples where we are not competitors in this space, but more just like-minded projects solving different parts of the same problem. So yeah, collaborations are a nice thought. That's all I'm going to say. Thanks for the question, Beyond. Moving on, next one is also from Rocio. Wow, you guys are on fire today. What is the meaning of the blue scarf covering the eyes? That's a good question. I actually meant to ask that too. All Nillioners have it.
I'm very glad you asked. So this is the Nillion blindfold, and I'll give a quick lore kind of implications of it. Charlie, the guy I keep bringing up, the old community lead, one day he just decided to start live streaming, like putting these blue blindfolds on people's Twitter profile pictures by hand. Like he would literally go on stream for 8 hours at a time. Like people would reply to this tweet, like if you want a blindfold on your profile picture, reply to this tweet and I'll try to get to it on my live stream. And he would just pick profile pictures from these replies, put the blindfold on them, and then send them back to people. And I think in total he did like 36 hours of streams doing that. Like it was insane. He did a shoey at some point. Like there's a ton of good lore in there, but that kind of ties into the way that we do things that don't scale. And honestly, the blindfold campaign was like the 0 to 1 moment for Nillion's community, because
that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah, it was awesome. I wish I was around for it, because I definitely would have begged to get my profile picture blindfolded. But it was a very like personalized way to make people feel special. Like, oh my gosh, only a certain amount of people got their profile picture blindfolded. Like this guy manually did it on stream. I know he did it on stream, and it was just very like very personal. And I think that's why it was so successful and viral.
Yeah, that's a really amazing idea. I absolutely love it. I didn't even hear about it yet. All right, big thanks for that question and also the fascinating story. Now, I think we only have time for one last question. So since Anderson also asked one, I'm going to pick his to make sure that no one's left out. All right, so how is Nillion positioned in the bull run? What are the expectations for Nillion token in the near future?
Great question. I can't answer all of the question, but I will say. Oh, sorry, I muted myself.
Yeah, you did.
Let me start over.
I thought I lost connection or something. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I accidentally clicked. What I was saying was, I can't answer too much of the question, but I will say, like since day one, Nillion's goal has been to build really, really powerful privacy enhancing technology for individuals to benefit from. And that's what we're going to continue to do, on top of attracting developers to Nillion, giving visibility to the ecosystem apps, and getting more use on the Nillion network. Because the Nil token is a utility token, and it's kind of this circular loop of value where projects have to spend Nil token in order to purchase blind compute units on the network. So the more ecosystem projects are being used, the more Nil token is being used, and it just creates kind of this flywheel. So we're currently working on getting this flywheel activated. There's some projects using blind computation on our network, and that's only going to go up and to the right as we continue to attract these really strong developers.
Up and to the right we go. And on that beautiful note, I think we have to wrap up here because we're bumping up against the end of this call. Matt, it was once again a lovely chat. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for coming on. Any closing remarks?
This was a great conversation, sir, and I really enjoy talking to you, learning about NIM, and getting to know the NIM community. Seems like you guys are a sleeping giant that's about to come out and blow some shit up. So very, very excited to potentially work with you guys and continue doing these conversations like these, because I know at least the Nillion community loves them, and I'm sure the NIM community does too. But us
Yes.
privacy projects got to stick together.
Exactly. Very well said. Blowing shit up it is. Definitely. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're all about. Now, of course, we can't wrap this call up fully before I do the usual thing, which is a little tradition here at NIM. We provide participants and the audience of the call with a POAP to commemorate hanging out with us. It's this little NFT, which you can claim. You know what to do, so you need to go to the usual place, which is, I'm going to put it on screen, which is nim.com/go/POAP. And the secret phrase is, drum roll, Overwatch. Now, of course, I chose the secret phrase because I got publicly shamed by the entire Nillion community for playing Overwatch, which of course I'm pressing charges for. So, my lawyer will reach out very soon. I thought it was a nice meme. Are you up for that Mercy 1v1 we talked about earlier?
Brother, I have told you I have not touched Overwatch in like 8 years. If you meet me in the 2 fort trenches as soldier, I will exterminate you. So we can do that.
Yep. All right. We can do both, maybe. And then it's extermination. It's reciprocal extermination. But for now, we have to wrap up this call. Big thanks for joining again, and huge thanks for our audience for listening in. Have a nice day, evening, morning, whatever it may be on your side, and catch you all very soon.